Hello and welcome to another Amy Reed's home cooking. We're going to do a lasagna this time, one of my favourites, and you've already seen how to make the bolognese sauce, and I'll show you how now to make a bechamel sauce, which is dead easy and very, very versatile. So once I've got my eyes in, I can see what I'm doing. We want about 100 grams of butter, which is about that much. That's a lot of butter, I hear you say. Absolutely. So let's put a bit more in for good measure. So, you want to melt down your 100 grams of butter. This is going to make a litre of bechamel sauce, which is a lot. But then it is so versatile, you can use it for all manner of things. So we've got 100 grams of butter, 80 grams of flour, and a litre of milk. And that, as they say, is just about all it is for now. I'm just going to melt down this butter. Right, so that's my butter melted down. I've used salted butter. A lot of chefs will use unsalted butter, but I often wonder what's the point when you're going to put salt in it anyway later on. There's our 80 grams of plain flour, and we just want to mix that together. Now we do want this to cook out, but on a low heat. You don't want it on too high a heat. But you do have to cook the flour out, otherwise it tastes all pasty and powdery and horrible. Keep it moving, don't let it burn. And just cook that flour out nice and gently. This is one of the top 5 sauces for basic sauces. With the bechamel sauce, once you've got it made, you can add whatever you want. In this case, we're going to put cheese in, Parmesan cheese to be precise, because it's for a lasagna. You could equally do it with cheddar. Cheddar cheese sauce on top of fish is delicious. Cottage cheese sauce is just wonderful. You can use exactly the same sauce base for a sweet. You just add some sugar and whatever sweet things you want in there. You can add fruit. You can even add some brandy and put it on a Christmas pudding. It's delicious. Another thing you can do is just put parsley into it and make a parsley sauce to go onto fish. Especially white fish like cod again, or amoa, or anything like that. So then we want to gradually at first, once we've cooked our flour out, add whole milk. Not skimmed milk, not 50-50, but whole milk. And in this instance, I'm using double cream milk, just to be really out of order. So, pour a bit of milk in, mix it up, make sure you don't get any lumps. Again, on quite low heat. And as you see there, it starts to thicken very, very quickly. Don't be afraid of it, pop a bit more milk in. In fact, put it all in. I'll show you a trick. We're going to use a whisk. So we won't get any lumps in at all. Now, when you get to this point, you can turn the heat up a little, but you mustn't let it stick. It will thicken up, as soon as this milk gets up to temperature. But you must keep it moving. If you leave it, it'll stick on the bottom. No sticky bottom jokes, please. Right, you can see this is starting to thicken up a little bit now, so I'm going to put some pepper in. I'm not going to put any salt in just yet because there was salt in the butter. We'll put some pepper in. And also, I'm going to put some nutmeg in. Maybe about a quarter of a nutmeg, something like that, in this much. There you go, that just shows we're doing it live, doesn't it? Did you see that nutmeg drop in? So that's my nutmeg in and out. I'm giving it a whisk, and as you can see now it's starting to thicken up beautifully. No lumps in it, looking good. Now, because we're going into a lasagna, I'm going to put a little bit of Parmesan cheese in, 100 grams to be precise. That looks like a lot of cheese, I hear you say. That's because we want it to taste of Parmesan cheese. We don't want it to taste of milk and flour. So we just mix that in. Make sure it's moving. Now if your sauce does get too thick, you can always put a little bit more milk in. If it's too thin, don't put more flour in because it'll go all pasty and horrible. So that's on a very low heat, and that is done. So I'm going to turn the heat off underneath there, and the remaining Parmesan cheese will just melt into that sauce now. Need to give it a taste for salt. That's how thick it should be, look. You pull the spoon out, it sticks. Now for my money, that needs more salt, even though we used salted butter. And that's it. Now, you all saw, I hope, the spaghetti bolognese video, because on that spaghetti bolognese video I showed you how to make a ragu, and this is that very ragu. So quite simply, we start off and we layer it. Take out that bigger stick. Let's have some bechamel sauce in there. And I'm using fresh pasta that somebody else has made for me in beautiful packets that you can never get open. Quite simply, we're going to lay some lasagna in there. Get it into the corners. Just fill it up. And again, ragu. Don't be shy with your filling. Just to cover the pasta. This is a really filling lasagna, so this dish will probably feed comfortably 4, maybe even 6. And then again, some of our bechamel sauce, which is delicious, and you can serve this with the lasagna on the plate if you so desire. Just a nice saucy lasagna. And now, because we're off the bottom, I'm going to add some buffalo. This is buffalo mozzarella, and it is just one of the nicest things going. So you just want to dot a few pieces in here, you don't have to be precise. The lovely thing about a lasagna is it all melds in together when it cooks. So, once again, have some more pasta in. I'm going to lay this in the opposite direction this time, for no other reason than that's the way it's working. Single-use plastics, we hate them. But there's the next layer. And once again, repeat the exercise. So I shan't bore you. I'll leave you and come back to you when I've completed the layering exercise. And this is the last layer, the top layer, which is pretty much the same as all the other layers. It's slightly different because it's the top layer. If that makes sense to anybody, let me know. And this will, as I say, it'll feed easily 4 big hungry people. And the lovely thing about a lasagna is you can make it as big or as small as you want. In this instance, I'm making a big rich one. So that's that. And again, some of my lovely bechamel on the top. Now this is going to go into a 180 degrees oven for about 35-40 minutes, I would suggest. And I'm going to put a bit of extra bechamel on the top because the bechamel turns a lovely golden brown when it's cooked in the oven. So we'll just give it a bit of a swirl so that it looks like a lasagna. I nearly put that back in my bechamel. And then on the top, I'm going to put a load more mozzarella. You can put cheddar cheese on here as well if you like, but mozzarella gives it that lovely Italian feel. Again, buffalo mozzarella. It melts beautifully. My mouth's watering already. This is ridiculous. And as if that wasn't enough cheese, here comes the Parmesan. Snowing. And that's it. Now, when you put this in the oven, you can almost guarantee it's going to overflow. So unless you want to start cleaning the oven floor, you need to put it on a tray. And we have a tray to hand. I'm going to transfer it to now. So we just pop that on a baking tray, and that goes into the middle of an oven at 180 degrees. And we're going to leave it in there for, let's say, 30 minutes to start with. Or 30-35 minutes, it should be finished. Okay, check this out now. After 40 minutes it's actually had. Oh dear. Oh. Not exactly what you'd call a light meal. So, after 40 minutes, that's our lasagna. Nicely browned on the top. And we're just going to leave that now for about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes maybe, just till it settles down, and then it's going to be ready to serve. And also, we made a baby one with what was left over, so we can cook that and wrap it in cling film and pop it in the freezer, and that will be perfect for a one hungry person or 2 people meal. So there we have it, Lasagne Bolognese. Bye bye now. See what we've got. Still quite hot. I think this is going to be nice and sloppy, this one. Ooh, look at that. Right, let's see what we got here. That'll do. That's near enough for Jazz. That'll do.
Super yummy.
I try this tomatoes with the mayonnaise. That's nice. It's because it's not mayonnaise. It's called bechamel sauce. Another use for it. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye bye now.